Margaret, let's go. Tánaiste, my question is in regards to the decision by the Irish Government in January to withdraw Irish troops from the Golan Heights to participate in the European battle group. We believe this is a breach, again, of the erosion of Irish neutrality, and I'd like to hear your kind of comments on that.
Neither the decision to withdraw the Defence Forces Infantry Group from the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force, UNDOF, nor the decision that the Defence Forces should participate in the next European Union battle group has any implications at all for Ireland's long-standing position of military neutrality. And I note the Deputy didn't really explain how he has come to the view that it does. At the time of the recent government decision that the Defence Forces should join the EU battle group of 2024-2025, the Government was advised that a further assessment would be undertaken of the sustainability of the Defence Forces' overseas commitments. Following the conclusion of this assessment, and on the basis of the military advice available to me, as well as formal engagement with the United Nations, I have decided to withdraw the infantry group personnel from UNDOF with effect from April 2024. Notwithstanding the decision to withdraw the infantry group from UNDOF, the Defence Forces will continue to have a significant presence serving overseas in the pursuit of peace, notably with the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, where over 340 Defence Forces personnel will continue to serve. In addition, my department will engage with the United Nations with a view to maintaining some or all of the staff posts currently occupied by Defence Force personnel in UNDOF headquarters, and will explore the possibility of providing a modest increase in our troop contribution to UNIFIL. The decision to withdraw personnel from UNDOF mission has been taken to allow the Defence Forces to undertake a process of consolidation with regard to their overseas commitments and to prepare for future peacekeeping missions, as well as to ensure that the Defence Forces have the capacity available to fulfil their commitment to the EU battle group of 2024-2025. Participation in a battle group has no effect on Ireland's traditional policy of military neutrality. A commitment to a battle group does not involve any commitment to common or mutual defence. Deployment of the Defence Forces contingent as part of the battle group in a peacekeeping or peace enforcement operation will continue to require a UN mandate and Government and Dáil approval in accordance with the triple lock provisions of the Defence Acts.
Also, I disagree with you on the basis that, you know, there's been soundings, even from yourself and other ministers, in relation to Ireland's place in relation to neutrality, and if you just have to look at the evidence. Why would Ireland participate in an EU battle group in the first place? Also, PESCO comes into play, and the use of Shannon as a military base. Millions of American troops have gone through that, and their participation in a number of wars that killed hundreds of thousands of people in the Middle East. So the evidence points there's an erosion by stealth by this government to undermine our neutrality. And this is not me being paranoid. The evidence is there. By participating in battle groups and PESCO, surely that has to undermine our neutrality.
Well, we've been involved in PESCO now for years, and it hasn't impacted on our military neutrality. Our military neutrality is defined by whether or not we're members of a military alliance, and we are clearly not a member of a military alliance. We're not members of NATO, and we do not participate in European Union Common Defence Pact. There is no such pact. So I'm at a loss as to how you can suggest that there is evidence that our military neutrality is being eroded. We've been part of the EU battle groups for quite some time, and they are important in terms of interoperability, for example, with other member states in Europe who could potentially, and do at the moment, participate with Irish troops in UN peacekeeping missions. So, for example, in UNIFIL, we're working with Polish battalions in that particular mission. And so when you work in a battle group within Europe, with fellow European member states, including neutral, I mean, in this battle group, we've other neutral states as well. So I don't think your argument holds up at all.
I disagree again, Tánaiste. I think, I mean, prior to you kind of stepping down, as Taoiseach before Christmas, that you went to the EU Council, and one of the main issues was about strengthening security and defence at the EU Council. and all the evidence points to a kind of a European army in relation to Ireland's neutrality in its place in the world, which has, you know, deep respect across the international community in relation to our neutrality. And we have said this many, many times, that the evidence points to, as I said, PESCO, in relation to participation in European battle groups, that the erosion of our neutrality is at stake. And soundings from yourself and other ministers in the government have also stated that. They've stated that with the triple lock mechanism is also for grabs. So the evidence is there. This is, again, it's not being paranoid, but the evidence is there that air erosion as a neutral country is under threat.
Tánaiste.
Well, successive Secretary-Generals of the United Nations have endorsed the development of the EU battle group concept and Ireland's participation within it. And as I said, participation in EU battle group supports the development of rapid deployment skills and capabilities within the defence forces. And as I said, with improved interoperability with like-minded states. And does ultimately assist us in participating in UN peacekeeping missions. And also, we've been part of common security and defence policy evolution for the last 20 years. And that has not impacted on our military neutrality. We've been able to do that because the EU needs to crisis manage. And we do need to debate the triple lock. Not because of neutrality, because it's a very simple question. You might be comfortable with Russia deciding whether Ireland participates in a peacekeeping mission or not, but I'm increasingly not satisfied. But that's what the reality of the triple lock is. No, I know, sorry, through the chair. The triple lock, basically, is about UN mandate, okay, from the Security Council. Putin is more interested in the Wagner Group being in Africa than a UN peacekeeping force being in Africa. It's the reality. So we need to discuss this, like, without just throwing out slogans and all that.